Okay, so those of you who are looking at this video, this is the discussion pre-writing activities for the first writing evaluation. So you have discussion questions 1, 2, and 3, which are designed to help you think about the past and prepare you for the writing task that's coming. So please take some time to pause the video, write down your answers to these questions, think about some details. Questions 4, 5, and 6 are also designed to help you think about some. Questions 4, 5, and 6 are designed to help you think a little bit more in detail about some specific events that you remember from your first time moving here to the U.S. and maybe some lessons that you learned. What were some things that you wish people had told you before you came here? So please, at this time, you should pause the video and actually take some time to write down a few notes as your answers to these questions. And finally, in this next slide, you're going to take some time and list, based on what you answered in the previous 6 questions, I want you to think about 3 to 5 pieces of advice about moving or living in the U.S. So I gave some examples. What are some pieces of advice that you would give to a friend or a family member about living here in the United States? So learning English is something students talk about a lot, so I just put learn survival English, study a map, get a buddy, use the internet, find out about the city you will live in, transportation, services, events. Make some small goals, and keep a journal. So those were pieces of advice that I think are important. Now, after you've made that list, you're going to pick 2 or 3 from your list. And I want you to think, what do you think are the 2 or 3 most important pieces of advice? And go ahead, take some time to circle those. Think about maybe some examples, some explanation, or some details you could give about each piece of advice. The next slide we're going to do is going to get into the essay structure. So it's really important you complete all this pre-writing activity to prepare yourself for what we're going to do next. Now we're going to talk about basic essay structure. So you're going to write your introduction. Your introduction consists of a hook, connecting information, and a thesis statement. So your hook should be an interesting statement or question, and your connecting information should be general statements. And then finally, your thesis is one sentence that contains the main ideas of your essay. Now I'm going to show you an example of an introduction. So here's the example of the introduction. I knew exactly 3 phrases when I landed in Jakarta. So I'm talking about my experience living in another country. Now I have my connecting information. I only knew the name of one person and the school. Looking back at that day, there was so much more I could have done to prepare and after my arrival. So there's my connecting information, and now here's my thesis statement. When moving to a new country, it is important to get a buddy, set small goals, and keep a journal. So the 3 pieces of advice that I picked were get a buddy, set small goals, and keep a journal. And I put that in my thesis statement. Your thesis statement should be the last sentence of your introduction. So I want you to follow the basic essay structure, follow these instructions, and create your own introduction using your pieces of advice. Next is the body paragraph, which is also known as the main paragraphs. You're only going to have one main idea for each paragraph. Inside your paragraph, you need a topic sentence. That's your first sentence, and it's also containing your main idea. Then you should have some other sentences. Sentences that express details, sentences that give explanation, and sentences that show examples of your main idea. All your sentences, 2, 3, and 4, should support your main idea. And you're going to repeat the structure for each body paragraph that you complete. So let's look at an example. The first and most important thing to do is to get a buddy. So there's my topic sentence. That is my main idea, getting a buddy. Someone who knows the language, the culture, and the city. So there is a detail about what kind of buddy, what quality should that buddy possess. This person can help you find your way and teach you about transportation. So there's an explanation of what a buddy does. They also know a lot about culture and language, so you will know what to say and how to be polite. So there's an example specifically. They can answer your questions about culture too. So in my body paragraph, the main idea is getting a buddy, and then all my sentences after my topic sentence explain what a buddy does, what a buddy is, how a buddy can help you. Why is it important to get a buddy? Finally, let's talk about our conclusion. So your conclusion, you want to start with a general statement. Then you're going to use some connecting ideas, some summarizing sentences, summarizing the ideas you've already written about in your main paragraphs. And then finally, your concluding statement. And your concluding statement can be a piece of advice, it can be your opinion, it can be a lesson that you learned, or it can be a prediction. So let's look at the example. Moving to a different country isn't easy. So that's a general statement, and it relates to the whole idea of giving advice and what it's like to live in another country and why you would give advice. And then I have some connecting ideas. Everything is new, from cultural values to daily routines. We all need help adjusting. So in my connecting statements, I talk about how everything is new, and when everything is new, there's not a lot of familiar things, and that can be stressful and discomforting. And because of that, we need help. We need help from other people. We need help. We need advice from other people. And then finally, I share my opinion. And I talk about my three main ideas again. Having a buddy, setting small goals, and keeping a journal can help us reflect and understand our changing lives. So these kinds of things, if we do these things, they will help us. And that's my opinion, or if you want to say, my advice. So there you have a review of your first writing evaluation. Please take time to go back through the video and use the things that you need. You can pause the video, you can take some time to write, and these are the notes that you need. And you'll also be following this basic essay structure for your second and third evaluations as well. Good luck!